Here's another example of one of those graves in your front garden. I never knew that Jesus came here.
Talofa, and welcome back again. In this episode we're gonna explore what to do and what to see around Apia, Samoa.
So today we are at the visitor center here in the capital of Apia. It's already 3 weeks that I'm here, but I've still not been here. It's a very interesting thing, of course, to do. So they have kind of like a village thing going on with all kinds of activities. So I'm just gonna have a look around, see what there is to do here, and yeah, what kind of activities we can maybe participate in or buy some souvenirs also finally. So over there we have some wood carving going on. So they make some ornaments, some bowls, and basically the old-fashioned weapons even. But one guy is going on with a chainsaw the whole time, so it's not good for the audio. But now he took a break, so that's what's going on over there. Down here we have traditional tattooing, which is basically slamming needles in your skin the old-fashioned way. Let's see if we can actually have a look. Somebody please explain me what this is all about? I have no idea. This looks like an Asian boy having a dump. Okay. You can even see on the other side something. Like, what is this all about? Somebody explain.
Oh,
fine.
How's your work today?
Good, good, good. Yes, I finished fine.
You guys taste the food?
Yeah, that was good.
How is it?
Yes, it's very good, very good. Yes. Yeah. Well, it was a very amazing show and performance done here in the culture village in Apia. It's of course a very touristy thing to do. It's very windy at the moment. But no, it was very cool. And at the end of the show they thank everybody, which is a very nice touch, you know, very friendly. And they give you also some food and everything to taste, their local cuisine. So yeah, definitely worthwhile to visit if you have the chance. Tonight there's a night market, so also have a look at that. And now I'm just gonna actually have a look around town a bit, because I haven't really done that. I mean, I've been here so many times at this point, but not actually made any videos about it yet. So this is some kind of government building, I think. This is maybe the main government building, not really sure. Doesn't tell me in English. But yeah, it is with on the top, the roof has kind of like a valle kind of, I think. So I think it's supposed to symbolize like a valle to traditional Samoan community home, sort of. So that makes sense if it will be a governmental building. So that's the central bank. Over here we have the clock tower, which is also a roundabout. So it's a yellow one. Apparently it's also a memorial, I think, for the First World War soldiers of Samoa that were part under the New Zealand sort of administration. Yeah, this is actually the busiest place of town, probably. Always the roundabout and the main road. This is like an old sort of supermarket apartment building. It's a bit forgotten, but yeah. So this is a bit what the center looks like over here. Of course, we also have the fallen of World War II under the New Zealand authorities. They were in the New Zealand army, of course, because they were only independent in 1962. So yeah, there's a couple of names on that one. Imagine being so far from home, having to fight some weird war for a queen that is on the other side of the world. Yeah, that's the British Empire for you. Well, it's evening already. The once in a month market, the night market has started. So let's see what Samoa's night market looks like. Of course, it's an island, so I don't know what to expect, but let's just see. Well, that was a short visit. Yeah, I was already a little bit afraid of this. I mean, I can't judge it, maybe just now in this time, you know, the rainy season, or just particularly this day, I'm not sure, I don't know, but it's just a bit sad. They're in the mud basically. They're literally just a few stands. I don't know what normally is the situation, but yeah. Not really worth going to, I guess. At least not in the rainy season, maybe. Well, time to go home. So at the moment we are at the Fungale market, if I pronounce it correct. It is the biggest open air market that is every day except Sunday open. And today it's open even until midnight apparently. So I'm just gonna have a look around, see what they have. It is fresh produce, of course, touristic things and handcraft things. So let's see what we can find over here. It looks pretty big. Oh, it's a very big complex. So here we have some kind of plants, I think. There we have some clothes. But we have to go in here. Right. So here we can see all kinds of necklaces that they make. It's very common to wear these. It's like made from shells, for example, like this, or these, or just colorful beads and sort of balls and everything. Well, here is the Samoan flag souvenirs. And those are turtles, the fala. I've seen these a lot. I think that they're some kind of a seed or something. They make them red also. Those are all shells. Very nice. A lot of empty shells here. Here I've got a couple more shirts.
Is that you from the Netherlands?
Yeah.
How long have you been here for?
For 2 weeks now.
You like it?
Yeah. Today it is Sunday and we are standing at the Immaculate Conception Cathedral. This is the main cathedral here in Apia, Samoa. And yeah, I think the mass is already over because it starts at a whopping 6 AM, 7:45 or 4 PM. So, well, maybe the 4 PM. But there are definitely other churches that have masses, I think. And I just want to have a look to see what it's like. I've personally not really been to any of those things ever in my life. But this nation is a very religious nation. I think I've never seen such a Christian place, even though I've been in Italy. You know, in Italy, yeah, it is of course Christian and Catholic and whatever, but it's not so in your face. Samoa is really in your face with it. It's a really interesting contrast for me. But the outside looks a little bit, you know, could have some renovations maybe. Some paintwork here and there needed. But it's quite a decent, pretty big church, cathedral. Let's have a look inside. So here we have the woodworks. That looks already much better. Okay, the inside looks much better, obviously. Let's have a look around and see what all the art is about and all the craftsmanship, because that's why I come for this. To see the beauty of what they did. So let's have a look. So here we are at the main altar, and of course we have the cross with Jesus behind us. We have the priest's chair, I think, or maybe something like that. And we have all the stained glass, of course, around us. I mean, I don't know if it's actually stained or not, I don't know. Maybe it's just painted glass. Let's have a quick look at what it actually is. It looks painted. Oh. Okay, so this is painted windows, not stained glass. Painted windows. Still very nice, very nicely done. I think all of them are like this. But of course you have all the depictions here of the story of the Bible.
obviously, with this white dove. I always see that. I don't know really what it means, but okay. And continues all the way over here. And we have interesting woodworks next to that. So we have like sort of leaves around it, carved leaves. And here we have basically a cutout of a cathedral. So that's basically what Jesus, the cross of Jesus, is around. So, and from here we have the whole view of the, I think it's called a ship or something, or what is like the hull of the cathedral. I'm not really sure what it's called. It has a special name. But I must say that the woodwork is absolutely beautiful. That's really, really interesting. I've not seen something like this before. It's really special. I think it's, must probably be the wood from the island, And I think, I'm not really sure, I think that black is also wood, maybe, or it's iron or something. But it's very interesting patterns, like star patterns, triangular patterns, circular patterns. And then we have up here the dome, which, it needs a little bit of work. But here we have a dome, and you can see it needs a little bit of work up there. But what we can see over here, if you look very closely, you see the native Samoans surrounded by Jesus, apparently. I never knew that Jesus came here. But they make stories if they, how they want to be. So apparently Jesus was here with, apostles. And we have village elders around it. So I think what it is supposed to represent is like a valley, like the typical Samoan houses with with the beams and the poles, and that's like an elderly gathering, and that there we have sort of Jesus and his apostles and followers. So you can see it up there too. I think that's even like a Roman soldier maybe with a sword or something. I don't know what it's supposed to be. And of course there we have, I guess, Mary or something, and angels. And there we have, I think, the village, that's probably maybe the queen or something from Samoa, I'm not sure. I remember something about female gods in Samoa, and the royalty was also a queen back in the time, I think. But I think one of their most famous sort of gods or stories here is like from a female. So that could be it. So yeah, it's quite interesting. And something else I noticed is that for some reason we have on that side the pictures in the windows surrounded by grain. So there we have grain surrounding it, like that. And over here we have it surrounded by grapes, like from to make wine. So there we have the grapes. Not entirely sure what's the point of this or what is the meaning, because I don't think that this is a very wine heavy region or a grain region, and I don't know anything about the Bible that says something specifically about this. But okay, it's an interesting thing to paint. Yeah, and then there we have the main painting, like typical circular windows. I am pretty sure that's also painted, because considering that all the other things are also painted and there's no stained glass anywhere, I think it's also a painting on glass. But it's still very nice. It's very nicely done, very beautiful, very detailed. Yeah, so that's the big cathedral over here. It's definitely worth a visit. To be aware that they actually have masses here and stuff like that, and they actually come here to pray. Not like in most other Western countries where it's just like a historical landmark at this point. So as you probably know by now, Samoa is a very religious place. Right now we are, I think, at the Mormon church or cathedral. They really did their best around here to create this temple complex with a lot of gardens and everything. But yeah, there we have, I don't know what it is, somebody with a
some trumpet or something. And then we have the entrance. Obviously, Mormonism comes from the United States. I don't really know much about it. The only thing I know is from South Park. But they're never really far off. Okay, that's a no for going inside. They looked at me very flustered. They all wear this white outfit. Interesting. Supposed to be pure, of course. But well, it looks from the side, it looks pretty big. So yeah, you can see it goes all the way to the back of there. Yeah, I asked if it was possible as a visitor, and he was like, "No, are you part of the Church of Jesus Christ?" And I'm like, "No." So yeah, we don't know what's going on in here, you know. You never know. But today is a gloomy day, so it is time to have a look at the Samoan Culture and Arts Center, which has been built in cooperation with China, I think, because everything is also in Chinese. It's a relatively new building. I think, yeah, it says here, completed in 2020. Wow. Yeah, it was started in 2018, finished in 2020. Wow. Right. So here we can see everything is in Chinese also. Aided by Hu Tsao, China Aid for Shared Future. Well, let's check this out. The newly built Samoa Culture and Arts Center. Right here, so we are at the artifact room right now, and with all kinds of explanation also what archaeology is, how it works, what they do in Samoa itself, and the importance of it. So here we have some Solomon Islands figurines, pretty nice detailed. And here we have some big toad. Oh wait. I remember this. This is a drum, sort of like a drum. You sit on it, I think, and you smack the side of it, and it makes like a drum noise. And here we have the painful tradition of tattooing. This is actually a tattoo, kind of a needle, and they would just hammer that in your body, in your skin. Ouch. That's yeah, that's how they do things back in the day. Here we have something interesting. Here we have some boomerangs. Yeah, from the Torres Strait Islands. So some boomerangs up here with, I don't know, like a walking stick or something maybe, or defense stick. Very interesting. Obviously the Torres Strait Islands are part of Australia, but they are a different group from the Aboriginals. That's why they always mentioned separately. So the earliest settlement in Samoa dates back to probably 3,000 years ago. That's pretty insane actually. From the Lapita culture, which started of course from Southeast Asia, right, like Taiwan and everything, and most probably the Lapita culture was based in the Bismarck archipelago, which is just above New Guinea more or less, just like northeast of New Guinea. And from there they went all the way down all these islands in a 400-year period more or less, and they slowly sort of inhabited these islands one by one, and there they spread their culture and everything. So that's why they found all this evidence of pottery, which ironically has gone out of style after, I think, was it like 1500 years ago, because apparently it was easier to make yeah, other kind of products like wood or something. So yeah, they're still trying to figure out what the reason is behind it. But it's this room is mostly decorated to one thing, which is coconut fiber, and especially how to make it into a cord or rope, which apparently was a very difficult process. It's called Senet. Senet, the making of Senet. Here we can see how that works, and they explain here how difficult it is to make, and they would even put it underwater, for example. Here they do it in council meetings basically,
And it's very, very strong and yeah, resilient. So the interesting thing about this is that coconut fiber can handle almost anything. It doesn't rot. It can survive salt water, so like the ocean. It doesn't decay in any way. It's insect proof. It's super resistant stuff, but it's super difficult to make. So they used to have a tradition, which is now a bit faded away, that during village council meetings, they would all, in the meantime, be making these little ropes, basically, which is called, I think it was, yeah, afa. It's called an afa, I think. Because it's such a time-consuming thing that they would just kind of multitask in the same time. It's, yeah, for them it's a very important thing in their culture, and it basically held everything together that they had, like their houses, weapons, of course, tools. This was, I mean, we forget about how, you know, societies could live without rope. Like, imagine that everything we have has some kind of a rope going on, something to do with ropes. The old ships and boats were built with ropes, houses were always constructed with ropes. So it's a massive thing to have in your society is rope. So yeah, this is basically their entire setup is about rope here. Here we have a traditional game. This is Talofa disc throwing. So, as far as I understand, this was mostly a game for the chiefs, and they would have to slide those pieces of coconut, so they are coconuts, across the mat. If it falls off the mat, you lose a point, or if it gets kicked off the mat, you lose a point. If it stays on the mat, you win a point. That's kind of what I understood from this. And it's apparently it's still done sometimes, but it's mostly for the chiefs. So regular folks, I think, are not supposed to do this. But yeah, pretty interesting game. And here we have some war clubs and weapons. So they don't look very nice. This looks very painful. That looks also very painful. They are massive sticks. And they would defend themselves in war against invaders or within their own tribes or tribal warfare. But yeah, they had infighting, so they had some civil wars at some point. But also they had many clashes with the Tongans, with Tonga. So there's still this rivalry going on between Samoa and Tonga, even though Tonga is much smaller. But they used to have some wars with those Tongans. So that's why they had weapons. So that museum was a bit of a disappointment. I think it's still too young to really be operating anything. It was just 2 rooms and that's it. So I drove towards this art exhibition museum thing. Yeah, let's see if it's open. Let's see if we can do something. At least the entrance is interesting because it's all wood carvings. So here we have an angel and all kinds of, I don't know what it is. This looks like a, I don't know. The hell is that? Oh, it's a bird. Oh right, yeah, it's a crane bird. All right, now I see it. Here we have some beautiful turtles and sharks, for example. Here we have another statue carving of, I don't know, somebody holding somebody, probably something Christian. And here we have, oh, beautiful manta rays. Wow, that's amazing. Beautiful. I think also with, oh yeah, there's some fish and some kelp, beautifully done. You have a massive, massive fish, not sure what kind of a fish this is. almost looks like a sturgeon almost, but probably not. Wow. Here we have some very ornate, detailed, but turtles again. Yeah, a lot of turtles. Wow. And some flowers. Here we have an octopus. There we have the famous native bird. And I think that's just a pigeon. And here we have some more turtles. It's crazy the craftsmanship you need to do such a thing, and it's so much time you need. And it also reminds me a lot of about Hawaii, you know, like then you're reminded that the islands are connected. It's really beautifully done. More turtles, very nice. And here we have some more fish. In the coral, for example, we have some coral here and there. Very nice. Beautifully done. It's an owl, pretty unusual thing for here. Some food, bananas, rooster. This is a snake, I think still in progress maybe. And here, more turtles. Obviously, the tendency of all these things and the subject is mostly the ocean, obviously. But there are some beautiful, beautiful things here. This is a massive... Wow, this is massive. Look at this. It's two bulls, basically, having a bullfight going on over here. And then the end is just one big carving of birds and stuff. And I think leaves. Wow. That's massive, massive sculpture. That's... must have taken a long time. And here we have also the tail is two birds, I think, or some birds. And a dog. Here we have a very big whale. Nice, also very nice. And we have a dolphin. And an octopus is on its back. Just catching a ride. And oh, here's a big, big horse. Very big horse head. And this is what we have. Oh, we have a person holding something. Looks like leaves or something, I'm not really sure what it is. But, well, let's have a look inside. Let's see what there is to do here. But already the entrance is very promising, at least. Even though it's maybe closed, already seeing this is already very nice. Oh yeah, here we have some bats, also very nicely done. Skull over there, some bats, skulls. Wow. Oh, here's some traditional pottery and headdresses and everything. Here we have the entrance, so let's have a look inside.
Okay, that was very interesting, very beautiful, definitely not disappointing. So I can definitely recommend coming here. The entrance fee, I think it was 10 tala. And then if you want to take pictures, it's just 50 tala. And if you want to take videos, 200. But she told me already after I was filming with the camera. But luckily, most people don't really know what the GoPro is or what the GoPro does. So she didn't know that I was actually taking a video. Personally, she thought it was 200 tala for video. I'm like, that's a bit steep. That's, okay, roughly around 70 euros for filming. So now I paid 50 tala for pictures, which is, well, like, I don't know, like roughly 13 euros. I mean, it goes to a good cause, it goes to this school and whatever, so it's not a big problem. But yeah, 70 is a bit exaggerated, I think, so, you know, don't ask, don't tell, right? So one interesting thing that I notice here is that they have burial mounds all over the villages here. Here they have a pretty big one. Not entirely sure what this one, what it says, obviously. But it's very common to have these sort of volcanic rock kind of pyramids. So they symbolize probably the deceased or something. And actually everywhere in somebody's front garden you will have people buried. So you also have cemeteries here, obviously, but many of the people here are just buried in the front garden of people's families, you know, which is a very interesting thing. I would never be comfortable with my father in my front yard, for example. But everywhere it's very common here, and I have to look up what is the tradition about this, but it's probably about keeping your family together or something like that. So it's quite interesting. But yeah, let's have a look at some other ones. Here's another example of one of those graves in your front garden. So that's again very common here. But let's have a look over here. Here we have a very big sort of tomb thing. I'm not sure whose place this is. If I can actually go here, because maybe it's property from somebody. But it's a massive tomb. And yeah, maybe it's for a chief or something. Also you have a big valley there, so maybe they have like community gatherings over there. I don't want to go too far. I'm not sure whose property this is. But you can see this is one tomb. Just basically one grave. And it's everywhere around here. It's interesting. I will try to, you know, give some more examples. It's quite difficult to film with it because every time I see one along the road, it's very hard to stop because there are not many places to actually stand still or to stop. You know, you have to either go a whole route or something and then walk back. So here we got a couple other examples. So pretty big one also. This is very big. I think it's 3 different people maybe. And there we also have two different people. And then on the other side it's maybe hard to see, but there's also this little house thingy. There are also multiple graves underneath with black headstones. And then there is one very big one just down. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a memorial or something, or it's a family one. It's yeah, very interesting. But this is maybe like a mini cemetery or something. Not really sure. But yeah, here we have a couple of old stones over there, but there we have 2 new ones. And then I think there's maybe a memorial or something. Or a collective grave. But yeah, another interesting fact about Samoa and Samoan society. And that was it for this episode. I hope you have a little bit of an idea what this distant island and its capital have to offer, what you can see and do around here. Let me know in the comments what you think about it. Thank you for watching, or as they say in Samoan, fa'afetai.
and see you next time.